Hello and welcome to this week's Expert Spotlight. My name is Michaela McCrory, online success expert for female entrepreneurs. And today I have Miss Jessie Guilford, a website designer. And honestly, we've known each other for quite a while, been running in the same entrepreneurial circles. So super excited to have you today, Jess. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to do this.
Awesome. So, I always love to get started and kind of hear more about how people got to where they are now, and tell us a little bit of behind the scenes of how you got into, creating websites for female entrepreneurs, and how did you end up starting your business?
Yeah, for sure. So I was fairly newly graduated from university. I was working a 9-to-5 job and I was bored out of my mind. I would finish everything I need to do by like 10 a.m. and I would sit there for the rest of the day trying to drag things out. And I actually had a friend who, she was kind of getting into the entrepreneurial space and she was starting her own business, and she had hired someone to do a website for her, and she'd paid them about $2,000 and they disappeared. Like, they took her money and they ran and they left her with nothing. And I had always kind of been known as like the techie one, the one who liked doing like stuff like that. And so she asked me if I could kind of go in and just see if I could do anything to help her build her website. And so I did, and I started YouTubing and Googling and for like days and days and days. And I actually figured it out, and I created her like a new logo and a website and all that stuff. And she ended up loving it. And I was like, well, this is kind of fun. Like, I kind of enjoy doing this. And then I kind of just, over that year, I started getting a few more referrals. And then later on, I ended up getting pregnant, and the need to figure this out a lot quicker happened. So yeah, I just slowly kind of started building up my referrals and getting better at what I was doing, and kind of found a niche. And I figured out that I really loved working with online entrepreneurs and online coaches, and I knew kind of what they needed and how, like, the things that would make their website work better for them. And so that's kind of how I started working with online coaches, and that kind of became my thing.
Yeah, beautiful. Always interesting to see how sometimes people accidentally kind of quote unquote fall into what it is that they're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
So always love hearing that story. I also forgot to preface this video by saying that Jessie and I are both working moms. We both have 2 little ones. Jessie has some kiddos running around in the background. Real life, full transparency, that is totally fine. I'm all about real mom working life. So you see some little ones, or
the toys in the background.
we are totally fine with that. So all that to say, I know you were so generous and you came up with some amazing tips to kind of share with our audience of female entrepreneurs and coaches. And you're, going to be diving in to kind of tell us more about what we need to have in our website. So maybe let's start with, if this is our first time, creating a website, or you're a new coach and you're kind of feeling overwhelmed by the process, what are some of the main things that you think would be important to include, or maybe some of the biggest mistakes that, new coaches or entrepreneurs make?
Yeah, absolutely. So my biggest thing is, when you're doing it, don't get overwhelmed by it and keep it simple. Like, just keep it simple. And you really want, the biggest thing that you want on your website is for it to be super clear with who you're helping. Just like on your social media accounts, you want your website to show, like, I help this person achieve this, like, in this time frame, without like their biggest pain point, right? Like, you want that to be super clear on your website. So that, like, for example, confidently create a gorgeous sales page in less than a week without spending like thousands of dollars on a team to do it for you, or something like that. Like, that is the biggest thing, because people need to know within those first like 3 seconds of landing on your website that you are the person for them, and they're like, you want them to read more, and you want them to go on to like learn more about you and your work with me page and stay on your website, and essentially you want them to either become a lead on your, like, for your newsletter or whatever, or else become, like, if you can get them right from like 0 to paying client, that would be amazing. Like, I struggled for a very long time. I used to do jobs for like $300 and my website showed that. And then I kind of like, I got better and I figured this all out. I figured out like this formula, and now I have people who like message me on my website, and I don't even have to get on sales calls, and I have $4,500 clients booked. Like, it's life changing.
Beautiful. So I guess the key takeaway that I really took away from that is, you really, really have to be super specific and clear on that, burning desire / pain point, or really clear on that problem that you solve for your ideal client. And that's
Yeah,
with your website. Is that fair to say?
yes, exactly. You want it to be easy to work with you. You don't want people to be going all over your website searching, like, how do I actually like contact this person? How do I book a call? How do I work with them? Like, you want it, like, the simpler the navigation, the better, in my opinion, because you want it to be easy. You want the customer journey to be smooth. And so even when you're going onto your about page, for example, your about page, a lot of time, this used to be like a little like autobiography about yourself, but now it's all about kind of how your journey and how you've gotten to where you are and how you can actually help them now, and then lead that into the work with me page.
Gotcha.
Is kind of the best way to do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, and you bring up the about page, which is a perfect segue to my next question was, I find that, a lot of new coaches do kind of treat their about page totally about them. And, you would think that that's what you would do because it's kind of the about me page. But, what are some things that you've noticed that make it a successful about page versus a not successful one?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the biggest thing is to not only show, like, immediately say, you know what, I help these people do this, similar to your homepage, but then you kind of tie in your story and sharing your personality and letting people get to know you as well. Just like same as on social media, but like this website is like your online home, and you want them to be able to like show, we do sometimes with clients, we do little things where we show fun facts and just show their personality. Oh yeah, so here we go, the mom life starts. Oh yeah. hang on here. Thank goodness it's 2020 and we have some technology. I don't know if that's
totally
good momming right now, but yeah, try that.
No worries.
So yeah.
Gotcha. So to kind of reiterate what you were saying, for the about page, you're kind of doing some fun facts. You want to have your story in there, but again, you're still reiterating what their pain points are and showing how you can help them. And I think I didn't want to interrupt you, but was there anything else that you wanted to say about the about page?
No, and then that's basically, and you want that about page to lead into like working with you, because when people come to your social media and they're like, I actually kind of like this person, maybe I will go to learn more about working with them. And so you want them to continue on that journey. You don't want them to go onto your about page and be like, this was the most boring, horrible page ever, and they like leave your website.
Totally. Okay, cool. So do you find that you put a lot of like the next steps for working with someone on the about page at the bottom after they've read it?
Yeah, and we'll even put one in between. Like we'll do like kind of like a mini bio, and then like, because sometimes when you just like you read something about someone, you're like, I have to work with this person. Mm-hmm. That is like the feeling that you want on your website. So if you can put a big me call like somewhere in the middle there, even before the bottom, because the more times they see it, the better.
Gotcha. Okay, so not just at the bottom, throughout the page. That way they're kind of, we're seeding it in their subconscious, if you will, giving them multiple opportunities to say, yes, I definitely want to work with this person. Love that. I don't know. Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, I need to go check out my about page and see how many times I have that option on mine. That's a great tip and great trick. I appreciate that. So let's maybe switch gears to sales pages. What are some of the most important components? That's like our one page where, we're kind of offering people to work with you and, it's going to make us money. So how can we make that, more effective to convert better? Like, what are some of those components that we need to have on a good sales page?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have like a system, I guess, that I follow for sales pages, and I'm totally willing to like share this with your audience. I can even put it in like a PDF format. So the biggest thing is with your opening headline on a sales page, you want to speak to both the problem that your ideal customer is experiencing and also like the solution and the result that they want to achieve, right? So you want to paint the picture of the end result that they're getting. And so I like, it sounds possibly long and overwhelming, but that's why people hire me, is because I have like 14 sections of a long form sales page that I will use to really take people through that journey and get them to the point where they are like, yes, like sign up for the program, book the call, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that opening hail button is super important. And then you want to go through and paint the problem and also look into the future of where they're getting, like, what is life going to look like after working with you, right? And you also want to touch on what's going to happen if they don't work with you? Are they going to stay at the same spot? Are they not going to achieve what they really deep down want to achieve? And then at that point, you are able to introduce your offer and be like, hey, I've got the solution, and talk about why it's different. And then one of the biggest things is sharing results. If people can see that you have gotten other people results and those that social proof, it's so important, and it's going to really it's really probably going to help increase the conversions on your sales page. And then the next thing that I usually include is the features. You probably know, talking about the features, not just all the benefits. And so, yeah, we go through that. And then after that, we talk about, the investment, your guarantee, and then we introduce ourselves. I don't usually have my clients introduce themselves at the very beginning of a sales page, which it used to be that way. They're like, hey, I'm this person, but now they don't really care about you until they know that you can solve their problem. And so that's when you kind of jump in with your story. So yeah, and then I can send you the whole, I can make you a little PDF with it all on it for you and everyone watching. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of it. And the most important features that I think are really important to include on a website, and making it really work for you, so that when you have kids or you have a wedding or a family, something to go to, that your website is still there working for you if you can't be on social media 24/7.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, awesome. If you are willing, we'd probably love to put that PDF in the show notes below, and then we'll also put all of your links. So if you want to take the next step with Jessie or learn more about her work or hire her for your website, then that will be right below this video in the show notes. I guess one more question. I know you're busy, so I won't keep you for too long, but
don't worry.
The last question would be, for the majority of my audience, for new coaches and entrepreneurs, a lot of the time we're selling, a higher end service, and people need to be on the phone with you before, they feel comfortable saying yes or purchasing. So what are some tips or tricks that you have for making sure that your website is having people take the next step with you for booking a sales call?
Yeah, for sure. So this is one of my favorite things. I've recently, kind of this year, I've started using, I don't know if you've heard of Kajabi a lot, like that website platform, but it makes everything so smooth. And so you can do this with WordPress. You can probably do this with Squarespace. You can do this with pretty much all the website platforms, really. But the biggest thing is, what I do a lot is, say when someone goes into your website, and a lot of times we'll include a book a call button right at the top now, so that it is obvious and it's easy for them to see it. So especially on mobile, when things don't always work 100%, or service isn't great, that happens all the time. It's just life. And so having that book a call, making it right there obvious for them to just get a hold of you. And then another thing we do is, after someone opts into your newsletter, I will have that automatically linked to a page where, oh, well, you got the opt-in, so do you want to just book a call with me and we can talk more about it? You know what I mean? And we'll kind of move more into that and start just placing more options and more choices for them to book that call and get on the phone with you, so that you can talk them through and walk them through the sales process. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is just making it obvious and making it easy, and placing it in multiple spots. Don't be afraid to book a call in multiple spots on your website.
Gotcha. Okay, beautiful. So would you say that the first tip that you were saying was putting it at the very top, would that be considered in your header or in your menu where you have the book a call?
Yeah, so it could be like, it depends on what, but you could, how the people have like those little bars at the very top. Like you could do either like a long thin bar at the very top saying, book a call, like 30-minute free, whatever, discovery session,
Mhm.
or else like a button right in the menu. You could do it like those are probably the two best ways to grab people's attention right at the beginning. And
Mhm.
then even right on like the main banner of the website saying, what, I help this person achieve this,
Mhm.
why don't you like book a call? Like if that's like, because if that's the problem that they're having and you've nailed like your messaging, then it's going to be like, yeah, I do want to book a call.
Totally. Beautiful. I love that. Yes, I guess I need to take a look and see where I'm missing the mark with making sure that I'm inviting people to book a call. So I really took away some advice and tips and tricks here. I absolutely love that. That was super, super useful. I guess before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Um, you know what? I guess the biggest thing is don't stress about it. When you go into your website, it can always be edited. If you need to change something, if something's not working, you can go back and you can change the way it's worded on your headline, or like on another page. Like, you can always go back and like reconfigure things. So don't feel like it is like that's the final thing and I'm stuck and oh no, it's not working, like I just spent all this money. Like, I usually work with my clients, I usually keep them on with me for another 6 months just to make sure that like everything is working, or if we need to tweak something, then we do. So that is like, just go for it, do it, and have confidence with it and be excited, and you can always make changes if you need to.
Oh, I love that. I feel like so many times we as new entrepreneurs, coaches, etc., we definitely get stuck in like the perfection, and it's so true. Everything's edible, or as Marie Forleo would say, everything's figure outable. So definitely love that. It can be an
Yeah.
overwhelming process. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, definitely check out Jessie's work, and she can help you ditch the overwhelm and get you an amazing website. But definitely resonating with that tip 100%. Thank you so much, Jessie, for your time, for being here, for taking a second away from your kiddos. We appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk soon, Jess.